Hey everybody. So let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Crystal Suzik. I live in Gogebic County, Michigan, which is on the west end of the UP. I have been a resident of Gogebic County for right around 22 years, 22 and a half years. I moved to the UP when I graduated high school. I was born and raised in Albion, Michigan, so I've been a Michigander my entire life. So what does that matter? Right? Well, let me tell you a little bit of why I started this YouTube channel. So the reason why I started this is because I actually created a Facebook page to hopefully bring awareness to people and also support staff that work at a correctional facility that's in our county. Um, Ojibwe Correctional Facility lies within Gogebic County and actually sets in Marinesco Township here in Gogebic County. It employs 203 people, both COs and support staff. And why is it so important? Well, it's extremely important to this area. This facility has been here for quite a few years. Before that, it was a camp. And when the state of Michigan was looking to put a new facility in, they decided to come to our area and they gratefully took it. Thankfully, because we had lost a huge amount of jobs in our area right around the same time, actually 5 years prior to when a mine had closed down that employed 3,000 and plus employees at that time. So this correctional facility coming in was a godsend at the time. This correctional facility generates $55 million directly and indirectly into Gogebic County and the surrounding counties, including Iron County, Wisconsin. So this is all important, yet you're still asking, right? Well, it's important because the trauma and the displacement and the amount of grief and stress that this closure has been causing to the people that are employed at OCF, along with the people within the communities and the surrounding communities, is devastating. This is one of the largest employers in our area. It also is one of the highest paying jobs in our area. And like I said, yet again, it directly and indirectly produces $55 million. So imagine that being taken away from your communities. It's pretty big. We don't have industry here like most other areas throughout our state has. We're outnumbered 20 to 1 by trees, probably more. That's just my guesstimate, 20 to 1. So let's talk about the corruption. Yeah, it's unbelievable, folks. It's unbelievable. So MDOC decided after closing West Shoreline earlier this year that they were going to do another closure with their new budget that they were putting out. And they chose Ojibwe Correctional Facility. Here's the thing that really gets us the most is that they are supposed to, according to legislation and the rules and regulations that they are supposed to follow with a closure, they are supposed to fully consider. Okay, let me say that one more time, especially if MDOC is listening. Fully consider the economic impact and the impact to the staff and the impact to the communities of the closure. So any kid in middle school can tell you what the definition of fully is and what the definition of consider is. Now, consider is one thing all by itself, but you put the word fully in front of it, and what's that do, folks? Changes this one. So MDOC, being the snakes in the grass that they are at the top, chose to completely ignore that and go ahead and go with their closure. Well, here's the thing that we started discovering after we started doing FOIAs. Freedom of Information Act, it can come back and bite you sometimes there, can it, MDOC? We found out that they were diverting and actually preventing the facility to stay fully staffed with inmates. That's right. They were closing housing units prior to, almost a year prior to. Not because they didn't have places and people, because they had more than enough inmates, because they didn't want to send them and they wanted to keep the housing units closed. Well, while they kept sending them to other facilities and redirecting them to other facilities, Our facility was begging for them to fill those housing units back up. Well, they didn't, which in the long run ended up making the facility look like it costs a little bit more, when historically, per prisoner per day, Ojibwe Correctional Facility was one of the lowest in the state of Michigan. Lowest. Not to mention the facility actually is not 47 years old like Chris Gotts wants to make it sound. It is only 18 years old. The infrastructure of Ojibwe Correctional Facility, the majority of it, about 85% and upward, was actually built in 2000. So that makes it only 18 years old. The longevity of Ojibwe Correctional Facility, even by the state's discovery and hard work, right? No, somebody else did the work for you. We know that's true. Its longevity is actually 50 plus years, where other facilities like Newberry is 20. So who would you close? And by the way, Newberry Correctional Facility was at one time a mental institution, was not meant to be a long-term facility. It was meant to be a temporary facility, and they turned it into a long-term facility without doing the upgrades that they should have done. Ojibwe Correctional Facility has had upwards of almost $4 million in upgrades in the last few years, including everything from new razor fencing to new LED lighting to new camera systems to improvements inside of housing units. But they keep trying to say that Ojibwe Correctional Facility costs a lot when you have other facilities that are going to cost upwards of millions of dollars to upgrade them. Then one of their biggest reasons why they want to close us, one of the top one reasons why they want to close us, folks, is because we reside on the west end of the UP and we're 600 miles away from the Lansing capital. That's why they want to close us, because we're too far away from the capital. Should that matter? No. Should it matter that we have inmates that have been incarcerated in our facility, that it's too far for their families to visit? No. Is that been a reason in the past to close facilities because they're too far away? No. But yet it's their biggest reason for closing this facility. Not at the saving value that this facility actually saves them. See, one of the big things that their spokesman, Chris Gotts, keeps trying to say is that Ojibwe Correctional Facility doesn't save them money, but it's funny they do, because they have their own water system. They have a well system. And on top of it, they have their own sanitization system. So with that being said, in the past few years, they have facilities that have doubled in cost for their water and sanitization systems. Newberry being the recent one, costing them double of what they normally pay. Ojibwe Correctional Facility does not have those cost factors in those two areas. But yet, MDOC keeps trying to state that we have these we have a specialized person that makes upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But here's what's funny about that. We don't have that person. We don't have a person like that on staff. Never have. What they are determining to be this personalized person is actually 3 employees who are certified to maintain the sanitization system and do the water testing. And it's not just their pay, it's also their benefits. So pay and benefits together for those people for the maintenance of these 2 systems, that's where the cost factor is. And it's still not that high when we have facilities that have ground crew maintenance and we don't even have people that take care of the lawn. They do it, even though they don't have people that are specialized to just do that groundskeeping. But you have other facilities that have that. So, what else can we say other than the fact that MDOC has done a lot of dirty deeds? They've proven that. There's a lot of stuff that's come out in the media lately, and none of it's good. Not a bit of it's good. You know, the thing that has amazed me is that Heidi Washington and Chris Gotts and the other people in Lansing Plaza are not behind bars. Why am I saying that? Here's why. Maybe because they're in federal litigation and the federal court system found that they were guilty of destroying documentation. Documentation they were trying to obtain during a federal litigation. MDOC destroyed it. Back in 2012, MDOC was found to be insufficient by the Auditor General's office in his decision, stating that they not only do not keep appropriate records keeping, but they also destroyed documentation. And here you are in a federal litigation destroying evidence. How are you not in prison? That's a good question, folks. Maybe we'll get an answer, but we won't get it from our governor because he is just as corrupt as the director he put in charge of MDOC. Right, Governor Schneider? Just as corrupt, if not worse? Yeah. We definitely hope that you get out. And not just out of that governor's seat. Why don't you do us all a favor and leave the state of Michigan? You haven't done us any good. Let's see, you've done what? Allowed children to be poisoned by dirty water? And on top of it, you've allowed people that you've put in charge to make not only bad decisions that have cost millions of dollars, but put workers and inmates at risk? How are you still sitting in that governor's seat? How are you not in jail? Because that's where you belong, along with your director, Washington. So, Heidi Washington, how does it feel to be a woman and know that you're having a prison full of women incarcerated, living like animals? Not to mention you have some type of rash that's going around at the Huron Women's Facility. You can't even determine what it is. You keep trying to put it on the inmates, yet you can't stop it. You've been in federal litigation over a year with this case. Back in 2015, the governor knew about the overpopulation at Huron Women's Facility, yet he didn't direct you to do anything and allowed you to keep adding inmates to this facility, turning closets and visitation rooms into cells. There was a Florida engineer that designs prisons for a living, came here and actually looked at the Huron Women's Facility and determined it to be inhumane for them to be living that way. Inhumane. Not to mention your privatization of food services caused a riot because the company you hired was serving the inmates food with maggots in it. And then you get away with that. And then on top of it, you do a buyout of $35 million with a company who's literally raking the state over the coals. For what? To bring in food outside of our state, and on top of it, for a computer service, something that you could actually hire dietary aides in the facilities to do? Oh, wait a minute, that's right. We used to have them, and you got rid of them to turn it into privatized food service. Yeah, how well did that work for you $35 million later, on top of the $117 million contract you had? Yeah, just wasting money away, pissing it in the wind. But yet you want to close a facility that you save $19 million at? Really? This facility closure is costing this county and counties surrounding it $55 million. And then we've got a governor who's sitting on his rear end as a lame duck, not doing anything, but yet stating, oh, I'll send MEDC there to do something for you. Here's what I'm going to give you. Oh, wait. Sorry, I don't have anything to give you. That's right. Thanks, Governor. Now do us all a favor, pack your bags and leave. And while you're at it, take Director Washington with you. Oh, and by the way, Director Washington, do us all a favor. Please don't go to work for the NRA, because if you can't protect our First Amendment, how are you going to protect our Second Amendment? Oh, why? Because she put a gag order on people working at Ojibwe Correctional Facility, warning them not to talk about the closure. That's right. Right to the point of having Chris Gotts call people and tell them that not only was it their job they had to worry about, but if they had a spouse in the field, they'd have to worry about their job too. What's the matter, Gotts? Did you not think we'd find out about that too? Yeah, see, Chris Gotts is really well known, all right, because he has one side of his face that talks lies, and then out the other side, he talks lies over here too. Yeah, you can follow your buddy there, Washington. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. So why is it that Ojibwe Correctional Facility was put on a chopping block when it was actually 50 plus years that that facility was given as longevity? It's a well-ran facility, well-maintained facility, clean facility, staffed by generational staff. We don't have the understaffing here like you have the problems in Lower Michigan. 700 down, I think it is. But yet you're going to close a facility like us instead of closing in a cluster facility where people would only have to change parking lots, or a facility like Newberry that has other facilities within under 50 miles, and they could transfer to other facilities to work, but we could take the overflow of prisoners. Let's see, why is it you didn't want to close Newberry? Oh, that's right. You have property in Newberry, don't you? On a lake? You and Sherry Ann Sherry both have property in Newberry. Was that a choice you made to close Ojibwe so you didn't have to worry about your property value dropping? Bad businesswoman much? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Bad businesswoman 110% all the way. And you're supposed to be what, a lawyer? Did you find that degree at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box? Or is that the reason why you're not behind jail cell bars where you should be? Because you know how to bend the rule just enough to keep yourself out of jail. Tell you what, you're a piss poor leader, and you are definitely a piss poor woman. Because any woman I know that has integrity would not make the kind of decisions that you made and make them so hastily and expedite them with no safety net put in place for these people. Nothing. You've done nothing for this department. You've done nothing for the people that work under you except for one thing. Tried to rule it with an iron fist. Well, guess how far that gets you? Just because you dangle little shiny things in front of people's faces doesn't mean that everybody's going to bite. And we sure are not biting. So go ahead and keep threatening. Go ahead and keep trying to do what you're trying to do by being a bad businesswoman. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be the thorn in your side. Yours and everybody else in Lansing Plaza. And Governor Schneider, until you're out that door, I am going to be your thorn. Trust me. You are such a pair. The two of you. Honestly, I don't even know. Without saying a bunch of 4-letter words and calling you what I'd really like to call you, I'm going to keep it pretty clean here for you. You two do not deserve the right to sit here and say that you're Michiganders because of what you've done to the taxpayers of this state and just what you've done to people, period. Neither one of you have any compassion. Neither one of you have any care for people or them as human beings. And you talk about true reform, Heidi Washington. You can't even keep true reform within your own establishment of MDOC. You've broken people. You have caused them trauma. You have caused them mental anguish. You have caused them stress. And you know what? These 3 counties adjacent up here, Ontonagon County, Gogebic County, and Iron County, Michigan, are 3 of the top suicide counties in this state. We are up there in the top 10, and you come in here and cause this kind of trauma and mental anguish. I'm thanking God. I am thanking God right now that we have not lost anybody because of this. But you, what you have done, you didn't even come here and face the people. You didn't even talk to people. What kind of person are you? And Governor Schneider, you have ignored us over and over again. And hey, Heidi Washington, did I hear that you were just up in the Porkies? Really? Do us all a favor. Stay out of the UP. Do us all a favor. Get rid of your property in the UP because you don't even deserve to come up here. You don't deserve to be part of our communities, that's for sure. The way you people treat other human beings, and not even the people that work for you, but even the people that you're incarcerating, you treat them like animals. Like animals. And then I've actually found out that during this closure, you have people that are spouses that work together at this facility. Here's the thing that gets me. You have people that are going in 2 different facilities. Spouses. Hundreds of miles apart. Spouses. That's right, people. MDOC chose to send those spouses hundreds of miles apart. And I was asked, how can they do that? And I said, you know why? Because when an inmate has a name on a piece of paper with their inmate number next to it, that's exactly how they think of the people that work for them too. Yep, that's exactly how they treat them. It's a name and it's a number, and that's all they care about. They don't care. That's why there's 700 employees down in Lower Michigan. That's why they are 700 employees down. It's appalling. It's sick. It's sad. I couldn't say enough about it. Because you people are bad business people and have done no good for the state of Michigan. No good. And don't think that Senator Cruz, you're not on my radar too. Because you are. Trust me. Been watching out for you too. Let's thank Senator Cruz, everybody, for trying to push through legislation along with all of his other little cronies. How recidivism reads. So people, do you really think that inmate count is down in the state? Because what recidivism is doing is putting them in a revolving door system in and out of our county jails. That's what it's doing. Reoffenders and offenders that are out on parole, that are breaking parole, aren't going back to prison. No, they're going to county jails. That's why your county jails are overstaffed. Or I'm sorry, overpopulated, understaffed. And the counties are having to pay for it. Yep. Thank you, Senator Cruz. Another great decision by somebody in the state seat. Thanks a lot, Governor Schneider, for getting that one through. And hey, Heidi Washington, thanks for your vocational villages. Let's keep trying to just give people certificates and not worry about the true reform, which starts with mental health care. Mental health care should be your top priority. Not worrying about a job. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you don't address the reason why these people committed the crimes in the first place, which almost 95% of the time is because of some type of trauma they have experienced, you better believe that they are going to reoffend. You are going to see, people, that money coming out of your front pocket, not your back pocket anymore, but your front pocket. Because all of those people recommitting crimes or going to jail instead of prison when they're breaking parole, it's costing you. And thank you to all these wonderful people that we put in charge. That's right. They're the ones doing it to us. They're the ones that are wasting millions and millions and millions of dollars, costing us upwards of billions of dollars. We've got kids in our school systems that cannot be educated appropriately, that aren't even being taught life skills, for God's sakes. Life skills. Another necessity in life. Yet we're going to worry about paying an inmate. That's right, paying. I'm not joking about this. Paying them as an incentive to go get their GED. But we're not going to worry about the reason why they ended up in prison in the first place. And like I said, mental health care, there's your true reform. Where is it? Because you definitely did away with it as quickly as you could up here in the UP. You got rid of the contract you had with Great Lakes Recovery. You made it difficult for them. Difficult for them. You had appropriate programs and staff that were great at doing what they were doing. A great group out of Great Lakes that was working with you, but you were making it difficult. Then you never even spoke to community mental health in Wakefield, nor did you speak to Aspirus Grandview in Ironwood to actually get mental health care services through them. No, you decided to sign a contract with an out-of-state company to provide those services. Out of state. That's right. Out of state. Just like your health food service, right? Out of state. I don't know how to put it any more clear for you folks out there. This is the kind of dirty deals that are going on behind closed doors. And then when they're getting called out into courts on it, they're not being held accountable for it. The governor, the director of corrections, state senators. What's going on, people? How is this happening? How are you people out there not appalled? How are you not angry as Michigan residents that this is the kind of stuff that's happening? I mean, Governor Schneider couldn't even come to our county to talk to the people about this closure and see the kind of devastation that him and his director are causing. But yet he was able to hop a plane and go to China for what? When he's a lame duck. What did he go to China for? Because he surely didn't bring industry back with him. No. Took a vacation on your money. My money. How many of you were able to go to China? Just stating some facts out there for you people. And I would really suggest you start getting upset and angry about the things that are going on behind closed doors, because our government, our state government, is supposed to be as clear as a window. We're supposed to know what's going on. We are supposed to know where that funding is going and what it's being utilized for. And you know what? You want to start somewhere with true reform? First of all, get rid of these damn people in Lansing Plaza. Dismantle it. Get rid of it. Give the building to the people of Lansing and put those people where they need to appropriately be, and that's inside of the prison facilities. They want an office? Get them an office next door to the warden. But half of those people we don't need because, see, we've got wardens of our prisons. People that are trained to be in those positions, who know the functioning and know how those facilities should be ran. Let them do their job. And then on top of it, quit worrying about these vocational villages that are costing us millions and millions of dollars. Fix the facilities that need to be fixed. Hire the people that need to be hired. Quit putting these inmates in county jails when they're supposed to be in prison, and then get the mental health care that needs to be in there. There, you're going to see true reform. You get these people treated the appropriate way. And not to mention, treat them with our own services in our state. How hard is that for you to do that, Governor Schneider? Must have been too damn hard when you allowed children in this state to be poisoned. You still haven't gotten that cleaned up. So why did I expect anything different from you with this? Geez, I don't know. I thought maybe you would actually care a little bit that you're devastating a community that can't stand to be devastated again, along with the surrounding communities. This devastation is going to hit into Hurley, Wisconsin and further. What's wrong with you? You know what, people? He needs to pack his bags, and he needs to get out of our state, along with his director. And boy, I'll tell you, I hope the NRA does not hire her to do anything, sit on a board or do anything. Because you know what? If she's going to infringe on people's freedom of speech, can you imagine what she's going to do to our Second Amendment? All I can say, folks, is we are sick and tired here in the UP of being walked all over and treated like we don't exist because we're 600 miles away from Lansing. That shouldn't matter. We're still part of this state. And damn it, if you don't want to admit that we're part of this state, then do us a favor. Get out of our state. So there you have it, folks. There's my first video for YouTube. I hope I wasn't too harsh. But very honestly, there's a lot of corruption going on behind the scenes. And if you want to, you can follow our Facebook page, which is Keep Ojibwe Correctional Facility Open. That whole title is capitalized. And Ojibwe is spelled Ojibwabaw. I think I misspelled that. It is Ojibwa. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to misspell it. But definitely follow our Facebook page. Follow this page. And please, people, send some prayers up for us, because in the next few days, we're going to know whether or not the judge that is handling the case right now, because we are facing them right now in court. MDOC had a filing against them by the Marinesco Township. Thankfully, they took the lead and hired an attorney out of Clark Hill, which happens to be located in Lansing. And we feel very confident that this lawyer will do us justice. And please just send some prayers up, folks, because we need to keep this facility open and we need to retain what we have. And I'll tell you what, we're going to start working with the state, and we are going to get our industry here. Because if you won't do something for us, Governor, we'll help our own people. So thank you, folks, very much. I really hope that everyone stays safe out there, and to all the correction officers through the state of Michigan and through this country, we appreciate everything that you do for us every single day. And please stay safe.